XRP is predicted to seize 14% of SWIFT transactions. This is what Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently said at a conference. And I wanted to highlight exactly what this means for XRP. So if you hold this asset, obviously we're looking for big news that could potentially create a breakthrough moment for XRP. And we've already seen some massive news events in the last year plus when XRP went from 50 cents to $3. Obviously, a lot of this is still speculation, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Picture this. SWIFT, the backbone of global finance, they shuffle a staggering $5 trillion every single day. But then one sentence from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse sent the entire crypto world, and particularly X, into a nuclear meltdown. He said with a calm confidence that XRP will take 14% of that pie by 2030. Think about that, guys. Not a measly 1%, not even 5%, a full 14%. That's a mind-boggling $700 billion in daily value, potentially moving through a crypto token. Your cousin still probably calls Ripple, even though that's the company and the asset's called XRP. But stick around in this video because we're not just ripping apart the banker talk. We're actually going to be counting what those percentages could truly mean for your portfolio and why this isn't just a bold prediction, but a gauntlet thrown by Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. And the 14% soundbite nobody asked for is very fascinating because I was rewatching the Apex Summit clip at 2 a.m. the other night. I had my coffee in hand when Garlinghouse casually dropped that stat like he was reading a weather forecast. My first thought was this. He just picked a fight with 11,000 legacy banks, and he did it on purpose. SWIFT has owned cross-border payments for literally half a century. It's the Microsoft of money movement. Nobody gets fired for choosing it. It's the safe, while slow bet, right? But when a CEO predicts that his altcoin will body snatch 1/7 of that traffic, he's either delusional or he's sitting on data the public just doesn't have. Which option do you think the whales are betting on? Well, wallet trackers showed addresses holding 10 million plus XRP added $38 million in the 72 hours following those comments. Think about that. Smart money doesn't chase headlines. They write them. And this isn't just speculation, in my opinion. It's a strategic move, signaling a shift right now, a big shift in the global financial landscape that very few, I think, are actually preparing for. But let's pop the hood on this beast called SWIFT. It isn't a money teleporter. It's more like a secure email chain that says, hey, Bank of London, debit this account, credit that one. And the actual cash sits in something called Nostro accounts, which are pre-funded piles of capital locked up in foreign jurisdictions. So why? Why does this happen? Well, a wire doesn't bounce. See, this system was established back in 1973. It's inherently slow. An average international transfer can take anywhere from 1 to 5 business days. The cost, well, easily $25 when you factor in foreign exchange spreads and what they call lifting fees. And if one corresponding bank in the middle decides to run a compliance check, well, now your kid's tuition in Paris is stalled again over the weekend. And Swift has tried to make, this modernized with initiatives like Swift GPI, but, it's just a great interface, but let's be honest, it's still lipstick on a 1970s mainframe. It's a messaging system, not a settlement system. And that distinction is crucial when we talk about speed and efficiency. And this is where XRP comes in, right? The new kid on the block. And the XRP ledger confirms transactions in about 3 to 5 seconds. The cost, you may ask, fractions of a penny, 0.0002. And frankly, it doesn't care about time zones or bank holidays. Ripple's on-demand liquidity uses the XRP token as the bridge asset. So Bank A sends US dollars, XRP zips across order books, and Bank B receives what's called MXN, all without a single peso parked overseas, freeing up billions of dollars in capital. And one Mexican partner told me that they freed up $300 million in Nostro cash within the first quarter after switching over to RippleNet. So this is why CFOs are suddenly speaking crypto without the usual cringe face. XRP isn't just faster and cheaper, guys. It's fundamentally more efficient, eliminating the need for those costly, capital-intensive Nostro accounts. This isn't just an incremental improvement. It's a paradigm shift, a big shift in how liquidity is managed globally, offering not only transparency, but traceability that traditional systems just simply can't match. So let's scale the insanity of this prediction from Brad Garlinghouse. We've got Swift's $5 trillion in daily volume, assuming 250 business days within a year. This translates to roughly 1.25 quadrillion annually. Grab 14% of that, and you're surfing on 175 trillion in annual throughput, or about $700 billion each and every business day. For context, that's the entire GDP of California swapping hands every 48 hours, all using a coin currently trading under $3. Velocity matters, guys. XRP doesn't need to be worth trillions to move trillions. It just has to circulate incredibly fast and like a hot potato made of money. Still, the buy pressure math lights up X and YouTube like a Christmas tree. If even 1% of that daily volume demands on-chain liquidity, spreadsheet jockeys are calculating prices north of $900 per coin. Now, listen, I know we're not going to get there overnight, but this is why there are these crazy price predictions for XRP, because the opportunity could be there. Now, will all of this come to fruition all at once, seizing 14% of Swift transactions? I don't think so, but it will play out, I think, in a way where XRP is going to have a place in this cross-border system. But why would any legacy player touch something so volatile? That's a big question people want answers to. Well, the volatility window is typically just 3 seconds for an ODL transaction. That's the thing people have to realize. And Ripple often eats the spread. But the deeper, more compelling reason lies within capital ratios. And based on regulations that now force banks to count Nostro cash against their leverage metrics, every $1 billion parked offshore is $1 billion they can't loan out for mortgages, business expansion, or anything else. But XRP in this context becomes a crucial release valve, a way to optimize their balance sheets. And I spoke with a compliance VP at a top 5 US bank who whispered, "We're stress testing ODL for remittance corridors. The regulator actually prefers it over stable coins because there's no bank counterparty risk, just market risk that we can hedge." The translation here is the rules, believe it or not, actually favor the crypto route once the tech proves it doesn't fall over at scale. This isn't about banks loving crypto. It's about them loving efficiency, compliancy, and capital optimization. If it was up to them, they would not adopt crypto, but they're being forced to because of efficiency, compliance, and capital optimization. That is the key here, guys. But let's address price before the hopium gets crazy silly here. And by the way, smash the like button if you haven't already and you're still watching this video. So models that, basically spit out $900 to $1,000 per XRP assume full utility capture, zero selling pressure, and constant, demand. But we got to have a reality check. Ripple releases 1 billion coins from escrow monthly, and institutions sell portions to cover operational costs. But that said, the supply is hard capped, right? And if trillions in daily volume chase a circulating supply that's constantly being reduced by escrow locks, cold wallet losses, and the unwavering, retail hodl culture, then we can certainly see a massive move in the price. And a fair value range for XRP could still be somewhere between $80 to $120 within the next 5 years. That's still a 40 times move from today's prices. So forgive the Moon Boys for hyperventilating. It's not just wishful thinking, but it's a circulation and rather a calculation based on fundamental supply and demand dynamics driven by real world utility. So I guess the moral of the story is, yeah, there's tons of upside here. And, Gary Gensler's SEC lawsuit is now a memory, thankfully. And XRP was declared not a security for retail sales last July. This was a landmark victory. But each jurisdiction writes its own sequel, guys. The EU's MiCA framework treats XRP like any other crypto asset, requiring white label licensing for its operation. And Japan's FSA gave it their blessing years ago, recognizing the utility. The real wild card, however, remains the United States. Should Congress finally pass a clarity bill mandating that all non-stable settlement tokens register as commodities, the last legal cloud hanging over XRP would simply evaporate. Lobbyists I drink coffee with, a few of them, tell me that a draft of such a bill does exist out there. It just needs a crisis to hitch a ride, much like how we saw FATF rules piggybacked on pandemic stimulus measures. We need some kind of trigger event. And if that triggers, expect ETF filings to happen later this year. Regulatory clarity isn't just good for Ripple, it's a green light for institutional adoption on a massive scale, unlocking capital that's currently on the sidelines. So that's where we are right now in this big story of XRP. From a price standpoint, guys, we're still sitting at 278, holding that 275 level very firm. And we're looking at a lot of great opportunities. And I think XRP, as we get closer to October, should be one of those assets that gets a lot of attention and a lot of focus. So with that being said, I do want to highlight our sponsor of today's video. That is I Trust Capital. They have teamed up with me to offer new clients an exclusive $100 funding bonus. And if you're looking to put your crypto in an IRA, whether it's XRP or any of the top assets, you can do so right now with the most trusted company out there. That is I Trust Capital. And I appreciate you all for watching the video. Thank you guys so much. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. We'll see you guys in the next video.